All right, let's look at question number 3. So it asks us to generate and solve another division problem with the same quotient and remainder as the two problems below. Explain your strategy for creating the new problem. So we can see we've got two different examples of a division problem here. In both of them, though, the quotient, the answer, is 3, and in both of them, the remainder is 12. So we can make any question we want as long as our answer is 3 and we have a remainder of 12. Now this is a little tricky because what that means is we can't divide by anything 12 or smaller. You'll notice that both the numbers we're dividing by here, 17 and 42, are larger than 12. And that's because if we're going to have a remainder of 12, our divisor has to be greater than that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have a remainder of 12. If we were dividing by 12, we could make one more group. If we were dividing by 8, we could make another group and have 4 left over, and so on. So how do we generate or make, and how do we solve another division problem with the same answer and remainder? Well, let's take a look at how to do that. So you can see I've got a pretty sloppy problem here, but my answer is 7. And my remainder is 15. So I know I want to have my answer be 7, and I need to have 15 left over. And I know that in order to have 15 left over, I'm going to have to divide by something bigger than 15. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to say 16. I'm going to divide by 16. Well, I already know that my answer is 7 groups of 16. So if I'm not 100% sure what 7 times 16 is, I could just jot over to the side and do some quick multiplication. And you can see here that the answer to 16 times 7 would be 112. Now that's not what goes up here. I don't have that yet. But I would make 7 groups of 16. It would be 112. And then I would subtract 112 from whatever my division problem is, and I need to have 15 left over. Well, what that means is this ones place has to be 5 ones bigger than 2, so that's 7. 7 minus 2 is 5, and my tens place has to be 1 bigger than 1, which is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1, and then I don't want to have anything left over in the hundreds place, so I'm going to make it the same. So you can see my division problem would be 127 divided by 16. The answer to which is 7, remainder 15. So you can see I've got the same answer, 7 and 7, and I've got the same remainder, 15 and 15, but I used a different divisor. Instead of 14, I divided by 16, and I'm just seeing the mistake in the answer I came up with. This problem doesn't actually work, because I can't have a remainder of 15 if I've got 14. I would be able to make, instead of 7 groups, 8 groups, and I could make one more group of 14. So let's go ahead and let's do one that actually does work. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take this all off because that doesn't actually work. My answer is not 7 remainder 15. And I'm going to use that same strategy I did before. I want 7. I want a remainder of 15. And I'm going to have to divide by something greater than 15 to have that remainder. I already did 16, so now I'm going to do 17. Well, what is 17 times 7? Well, I can do that quick in my head, and that would be 100 and, let's see, 39, I think. Maybe I better check it quick. 7 times 7 is 49, carry the 4, nope. 119 is my answer there. Okay, so let me quick change that out. So 7 groups of 17 is 119. I guess that makes sense. It'd be one more group of 7 than over here. And then I'm going to adjust my remainder so I've got it in the right place to kind of compare my place values. I would want to have 15 left over. So I need 5 more than 9. Well, that's 14. So I'm going to put the 4 here, and I know that I'm going to have to have 1 over here. I need my tens place to be 1 bigger, but I actually need it to be 2 bigger. So I'm going to put a 3 here, and you might say, well, Mrs. E, 3 minus 1 isn't 1. I know, but I would have to borrow from this and turn it into a 2 in order to have enough over here. And then I don't want to have any left in my hundreds place. So 134 minus 119 is 15. I can kind of show you that here with some quick regrouping. 14 minus 9 is 5, 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 minus 1 is nothing. And again, you can see answer of 7, remainder of 15. So what does your explanation for your strategy look like? Well, what did I do here? Okay, so what I did here was I started by making 7 groups of a remainder of a number greater than my remainder of 15. Gotta capitalize that I use 16 and 17 as my divisors. Okay. Then I figured out what 15 greater than my 7 groups was. I did this on my first problem by doing 16 times 7 and then adding 15. The final number I got was my dividend, and then 16 was my divisor. I could check by working backwards. So that would be an example. Yours doesn't have to look exactly like that, and it shouldn't, because obviously you're searching for a different remainder and a different quotient, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what you could work on for that.